drop in some installation to improve your broaden your playbook?
Well, you know, and it's funny you said that because, you know, there's a lot of times as a coach, the worst thing you can do is add a bunch of things or tweak a few things, and you get away from some of the things that you may do real good. So, you know, I thought maybe, you know, we had some success offensively and going to the Georgia Tech week, and you know, we tried to install a few things and do a few things a little different. And when you do that, you got to give up on something else. And so, you know, I took it. Obviously, everybody looks and analyzes and de-analyzes and reanalyzes and do it all with what went wrong. And you know, we as coaches do the same thing. So, back to your question, no, not a whole lot. I mean, we're gonna do a few things that people haven't seen, which is kind of customary of what we normally do every week. But as far as coming in and trying to say, wow, you only got 70% of your offense in, let's try to get another 10% in or another little bit more in, you know, we're not there yet. We're not there yet. We got to go back and do what the Tigers do best, and what our quarterback does best, and what we block best. And you know, football is a game of execution, and it's not a game of plays. And sometimes people get so caught up with the fact that you've got to add plays to feel like you're coaching when you really don't. You better figure out how to block those guys and how to hold on to that football.
You say,
and that's what it's about.
when you say we got to get back to doing.
So back to what you were saying, yes. Now, sorry about that, Bart. But yeah.
No, when you say get back to doing what we do best, you mean you're talking about in concept being physical, or are you talking
Absolutely.
about
Being physical?
passing, or what?
No, both. Both. I think being physical in all areas, being aggressive, you know, being aggressive with our play calling, being aggressive with the way we approach, we attack, you know, being aggressive with the way we run the football, and so yeah, that's what's gotten us to where we are today, is you know, being aggressive with what we do and being physical.
Because I could see a circumstance with the turnover issue 2 weeks ago that you were in one of those one step forward, two steps back kind of situations.
Absolutely.
And not having a healthy Andre, you probably got to come to the conclusion we can't depend on having him, so we've got to do what we do well with the guys we have available.
You're dead on, absolutely. And you know, you got to get Taj more involved. You know, Taj has got to. He's got to. You know, while he was trying to get Mike lined up and them helping each other out and getting DJ lined up and everybody helping each other out. You know, sometimes when you start worrying about everybody around you, you kind of forget on, you know your reads and what's going on there. And not to say that's what, you know, that's maybe the reason why he didn't play as well, is because he was worried, making sure his young backs were where they needed to be, which every quarterback better be worried about that, especially pass protection. Yeah. They did a great job. I was really pleased with the way our young backs responded outside of the 2 turnovers. So they proved that they can play as long as they can hang on the football. So yeah, I mean, we got to go back to being who we are, and not to say against Georgia Tech wasn't who we are, because it is. It's just you got to go execute and hold on the football.
That all being said, you anticipate Andre being able to go through practice okay and be ready to go?
Andre's going to play. Absolutely. Andre's going to be playing, and he's going to be ready to go. We don't anticipate that being a problem at all.
So you said last week, you suggested that maybe getting Taj more involved in the run game was one way of accomplishing what you just mentioned.
We've got to get him involved. He's got to be more involved with it. Not necessarily the run game, but just he's got to be involved in just given the you know, perception that he can run the football at any time, and so, you know, again, when he's moving and running the ball, it's usually when he's settled down and he's at his best.
Hey, Chad, obviously Watkins and Gibbons have been the best 2 receivers in the league statistically. I know you don't spend a lot of time looking at the other team's offense, but I'm curious if you've seen Gibbons at all, and if so, what it is that's intriguing about him.
I got to watch him a little bit the other night
Yeah.
on television, and obviously a phenomenal athlete. I guess it's something about wearing number 2. I don't know. I mean, but you know, I definitely think he's definitely a huge talent in this conference and in the country, and it's going to be it'll be a great matchup with two very talented receivers. But they've got a lot more. You know, their defense is you know, I don't watch a whole lot of their offense outside of what the TV showed the other night, but you know, they're very, very talented and play exceptionally hard. I mean, extremely hard, and they're where they're supposed to be defensively. I mean, that's one thing that you notice about these guys. There's constantly 10, 11 guys around the football at all the time.
I asked part because Scrobe loves the way that he catches underneath routes and turns them into big gains, and that kind of reminded me of some of the things that you've done with Sammy. When you have somebody who can do that, how does it change what a defense has to do against you?
Well, you got to know where he's at all times. I mean, I know that's what everybody's seeing. You know, with Sammy, you better know where he's at all times. You better account for him. You know, with even a couple guys at times. And when you do that, somebody else has got to be open. So it opens up the door for other guys to make plays.
How much did you get to focus on Wake Forest during the off week, and what did you see out of their defense besides the swarm of nature?
Oh, we spent our entire off week on Wake Forest to get ahead of the game, obviously, and get ahead on our scouting and game planning. And so, you know, just being able to watch them on Saturday, they did a few things a little bit different, but for the most part, you know, they're like everybody else at this stage in the game. They're not. I mean, what they do is who they are, and they'll add a little wrinkle or a different blitz package through the course of the week and for the opponent, but they're not going to change who they are. But we did. We got to spend a lot of time on Wake Forest last week.
Chad, I guess recruiting never stops, but you know, during an off week, you could maybe get a little more time. The reception that you guys are getting now at 8-1 and ranked in the top 10, as opposed to maybe in June, July, earlier this season, have you seen that change since you've come?
Oh yeah, we have.
Yeah.
We've definitely seen that. I mean, it's you know, the exposure that the program has been getting and has been remarkable. Winning is the best recruiting tool you got. I mean, it is. I mean, and you know, we've definitely had lots of really good exposure over the course of the last, you know, 8-9 weeks, and you know, all over the country. So yes, that's definitely helped us out a whole lot.
Specifically with receivers, seeing what Sammy's been able to do as a freshman, is that kind of do you feel like that's an enticement to some of these guys that, you know, if they're good enough that they can step in and play right away in your offense?
Well, I think so. I mean, I think that's been definitely a huge advantage for any young guy that's sitting and watching us play. Not just a running back or receivers, but running backs as well, and O-linemen, and you know, it's again, great national exposure, and not just, you know, not just our area, but all over the country.
In regard to ball security with Bellamy and Howard, how long do you think that typically takes to improve to get towards a comfort level for coaches and that sort of thing?
Well, I mean, it takes, you know, let's see, we've been working, they've been here for how long now? And DJ's been here since January when I got here, so he went through all the spring ball and went through all the camp, and Mike got here and went through camp with us, and so, you know, it's eventually the light clicks on, and you realize how important it is to take care of the football. We chart it, we remind them every day, and you know, and eventually that'll what separates you. You know, it'll either put you on the bench, and you'll want to know why you're not playing, or it won't. And that's how important it is. You got to have a trust factor, and not to say we don't trust these guys, but we do. You know, they played hard and they did a good job. They're young, they're growing. They've got to understand how serious it is of protecting this football and ball security.
Chad, you told us earlier, you know, four Sundays in 4 years, waking up with a feeling like that. I mean, don't coaches generally wake up, you know, in a bad mood, thinking about everything that went wrong, even during a loss? Are there any days when Sundays coaches wake up feeling pretty good?
Well, I mean, you always try to get better and always try to find, you know, what can we do to improve even on a win.
Yeah.
But I definitely like to wake up as all coaches do, our staff, every staff in the country likes to wake up on those Sundays with, yeah, we won, but what can we do to get better than we lost? You know, play good, play bad, you lose, a loss is a loss. And it's unacceptable, so. Anybody else? That's it? Y'all are easy today. Wow.